Welcome back, mutants. Greetings, Pathfinders. Today I thought we'd do something that's just a little bit different and go through a little Let's Play of Pathfinder. I'm going to approach this like you've never played the game and you've never played the role-playing game. So what I'm playing today is Pathfinder Kingmaker. I've always been a big fan of role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons games in particular. So what you see here on the screen is the overland map of my character's kingdom. Here's the capital, Tuskdale. You can see as I highlight it that it shows me the path to reach it, but my group is actually all the way over here on the far edge of the kingdom. Let's see if I can find myself now. Here I am at the Six Bears camp, where we've just left after having a rather harrowing encounter with some creatures there. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Pathfinder, I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice. Let me pop out of the game for a second. Number one, you can read all of the rules online at a couple sites, one being the Archives of Nethys, and the other being the D20 PFSRD, the System Resource Document, or System Reference Document. Can never remember which one of those it's supposed to be. But anyway, this breaks down the entire game. These are all the official rules. They're just posted here online. If you want advice in how to build your character, I recommend picking up a copy of the excellent Pathfinder role-playing game strategy guide available from Paizo and their website at paizo.com. Okay, enough of that. Back to the game. Okay, so at this point I'm exploring the lands. You can see I'm traveling along the outer boundary of my lands. I've actually left my kingdom. You can see over here on this right hand side, that is the claimed lands of my kingdom, and my party, represented by this token, is just traveling along. You do this to open up the roads so that when you're in a specific location and you want to go elsewhere, it makes it easier for you to just travel along those roads rather than having to discover those particular roads, which is what I'm doing at the moment. We are discovering, and I'm going to keep going until we run into something. What is that? I don't know. It looks kind of weird. Keep going. Okay, we've reached the southern border. Here we go. Surprised I haven't hit a random encounter yet. Oh god, everybody's tired. Okay, I better hurry up and rest. This is going to be a really exciting video for you guys. You get to watch me just traveling around. Now we're going to rest. Oh, there's the party. So resting mode, you decide who does what. Here I've set my barbarian to do the hunting. I've set my main character, who's a ranger, to provide the camp camouflage. I've set the wizard / rogue to do the cooking. She's going to try to make rice and nut pudding, which we have a recipe for. The half-orc magus is just going to do his intimidating posture, which tries to keep people away. And then my watch, I've set up the dwarf, who has dark vision, and the gnome, who also has dark vision, as first and second watch. So there you go. I've told them to not use rations, but to... Oh, well, are they using rations? No. Okay. Don't use rations. They're going to do hunting. Use their healing spells before they rest. And, okay, get started. Now, one thing they'll do is they'll banter with each other a little bit. Well, they're not bantering today, so forget it. We'll just begin resting.
You're so boring. For once in your life, can you forget about the end of all things and come have a drink with us?
You think you'll enjoy drunken harem better than the sober one? You're wrong, Ragongar. You are so wrong. You'd rather not see or hear me like that.
Okay, you can see my the portraits that are highlighted in red. These characters were recently beaten unto the living death, as Ken Shamrock once said. So they are weakened until we get back to town and give them a chance to rest properly in town or at an inn. Afraid if I cross the border, something nasty is going to happen. Let's see what this random encounter is. Okay, we'll go back. I'm not going to waste time reading that out for you. Just traveling along. Alright, we finally got to a random encounter. Let's see what happens. I could have tried to evade them, which sometimes you want to do if you're trying to make a long journey overland. You want to try to avoid some of the fights. I mean, yeah, you want experience for fighting them, but it can drain your resources and you can lose a day or two in time because you might have to rest again. Okay, saving. Have no idea what's going on. Always pause the game and do your spell casting.
Yes, I'm still here.
So I'm going to set my dwarf to go ahead and cast Bless for everybody.
Ready and willing.
Wizard's got a Wand of Good Hope over here. Get her to cast that. Now, I don't know what I'm facing yet. I'm just casting spells because we need to do some pre-combat buffing. Get the Alchemist to cast a shield spell. The cool thing about Alchemist is if you have the infusion feat, you can actually give your spells to other people. So he could throw his shield on somebody else, which is pretty darn nifty. The game is pretty nice. The interface is pretty intuitive. It's about as good as any that I've seen. My favorite MMO online was always Dungeons and Dragons Online. You know, for superheroes, it was City of Heroes before that game got Thanos into oblivion. Everything's pretty intuitive. You can kind of set up all of your what you want where in the little boxes, and there's a lot going on the screen, but as long as you make liberal use of the pause function, unpause, that way you don't lose any time. They go ahead and bust off all their defensive spells. Repause, get a little bit more going on. We'll go ahead and have the Alchemist put a haste on everybody. And let's have the Wizard cast her Mirror Image. Magus needs to throw his shield. And not sure what else to cast with the Dwarf Cleric just yet. Okay, so I'm throwing a lot of things at you fast and furious. So I'm just going to say, starting out in the game, there's two things you need to do first, okay? Number one is find the Pathfinder contact in the game. Okay, you'll run into him pretty early on. I think his name is Inorial Eight Eyes. It might be she or they. Spend your money early to hire a Pathfinder contact. That's what I did to get my Alchemist here. Justerius 9. I wanted an Alchemist just to fill in the blanks of all the characters that I had in effect at the time, because you don't meet an Alchemist early on. So in my experience in playing the game, I know that Alchemists are pretty darn versatile. So I thought, you know what, an Alchemist will go a long way. And this is pretty cool. You can always click on this, look at your sheet, and it shows you which effects are in effect. And you also have the icons down here on your character portrait that shows you what's going on. You can click through and see what you have. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on this. We'll see if we can give you guys a little bit of action. Alright, we've got a few spells in place, so I'm going to walk forward, see what it is we've run into. Because I have no idea. My darn cat's up here messing with me, because they always do if they hear me talking. Looks like just rogues, so we will probably just smash the bits out of them. Okay, I've got my options set to automatically pause whenever combat begins. That gives you a chance to go ahead and set all of your individual character strategies. And I've also got it set to pause at the end of the round so that I know that I need to determine everyone's strategies again. If you're familiar with the game, it rolls your initiative automatically. And you can set the... It's not exactly a chat, but it's the running log of what's going on right over here, and you can see what everything's going on. Now you can lengthen this or shorten it as needed. I've got it out lengthened at the moment because there's a lot of things happening and I want to be able to keep track of it. I've got it set to all just so I see everything, including dialogue and combat options. And my second tip for early gameplay for players is go ahead and invest in a bag of holding. So those two things is hire a Pathfinder contact. My recommendation is Alchemist if you're not playing one. Though you can pick something else that's better suited to your group. And number two, get the small bag of holding because it helps you hold items that you carry and you don't wind up getting weighed down with encumbrance and items and loot and whatnot. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is set my ranger, put a couple arrows in this sucker, click on the ranger's dog companion here, tell dog to go over and hit him. Barbarian is already raging, she likes to do that. We're going to tell her to just charge and let them loose. Now, of course, the Magus is running right over. I hate the AI sometimes. If you don't tell people not to run, they'll just take off and run like that. Cats are just messing with me. They hear me talking. They just enjoy it. So I'm going to make my dwarf run back, though. He's probably going to end up provoking because of that. Alchemist isn't doing anything, so let's go ahead and have him just throw a bomb over here. There's probably some more rogues coming up behind me. They usually like to attack from both sides. Wizard, right there. Now you can keep everybody from running off by hitting the H button, that's hold. So you can click on everybody individually, hit H, they'll hold their position, or you can hit backspace, which highlights everybody at once, and hit H, and it will keep them from running. I didn't do that, so the guys that I didn't tell to do anything, their AI went ahead and took over, and they just ran up and engaged the enemy. For now, I'm going to keep the wizard held because I think some more rogues are going to come up out of somewhere, and I want her to be able to deal with it. Okay, so they just obliterated those two. Okay, here you go. There they are. I knew there was some more around here somewhere. They're attacking from the side over here. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this because we're just going to crush these guys like they're scrubs. So Octavia, she is using her bow, looks like. I'm going to go ahead and let her use some magic missiles on this sucker. Oh, it's a necromancer at that. Okay. Very good. Alchemist, we'll get him to use his bow as well. We'll reset the ranger, get him to put some arrows into that sucker, and let her rip. Okay, end of the round, pause just came up. That was an automatic pause. Okay, apparently there's another group. Now they're all running over that way. So the AI will try to help you if you're a little bit overwhelmed. You can turn that on or off. The game is very, very customizable. If you're not familiar with Pathfinder at all, I recommend just setting it to auto level when you level up your character. Makes it very easy to just kind of optimize your character. You don't have to worry about screwing it up and getting things that might ruin your character build later on. Okay, so there's another rogue over there. We're going to have her magic missile. We'll have Ballard, my ranger, just go ahead and hit that joker with some arrows and probably be dead before the rest of them run over that way. Pretty easy, pretty forgettable encounter, I think. But you'll run into rogues a lot. And there we go. Squashed them all. Easy peasy. I was hoping we'd run into something a little bit more challenging, but not going to happen. Okay, so now highlight everybody, get them back into formation. Hit the tab button to do your search. It shows you what your interactables are. So then you can just start picking things up. And fortunately, they've got this collect all option, which makes it easy to just grab everything that you find. And now that that's done, we can just leave this random encounter map. We'll just head up here till we find the little rose compass and click on it and head on out. Now this is pretty cool. This will tell you, this will remind you like, hey, you didn't get loot off of a couple people. Do you want to leave it or do you want to take it with you? I'm going to hit collect all because of course we want to collect all. And then we can leave with all of it. So there you go. So that's pretty much the basics of the game. without getting into kingdom building, because kingdom building is a whole nother kettle of fish. But I do like the way that Kingmaker approaches it. My recommendation with dealing with kingdom building is just don't skip too many days. Okay, you'll find that when you set one of your advisors to go deal with something in the kingdom, that it will take them a while. So let's say, for example, we discovered a new location right there. Cannot claim it for my kingdom because I have not yet claimed these lands. These are foreign lands. I'm going to keep moving along, try to do this without resting again, see if I run into something interesting here. So far, not. Bandit encounters are pretty darn lame. But what I was saying anyway is when you handle your kingdom tasks, you assign your advisors to do things or you build things, and it might take them a couple days, it might take them a couple weeks. Sometimes it might take them a month. Alright, now she's tired. So during that time, you're going to be tempted to... I'll be quiet, Alchemist. They're all mad because they're getting tired. You can see the icon down here. Always get ready. Make sure you rest whenever everybody starts getting tired. Otherwise, they'll be fatigued throughout combat, and you'll have all kinds of problems. I'll pop on the kingdom button over here. Can't do anything with it. You can see it here in the lower right-hand corner. I'm too far away from my capital up here at Tuskdale to actually do any kingdom building events. So try not to skip days unless you absolutely have to. There's usually a small side quest you can go and handle within the kingdom like this. You just head back out of your capital and travel to wherever it is you need to go. You can see the little exclamation points in the marked on the banners tell you there are activities that need addressing at those particular locations. So it kind of makes it easy so you don't have to wander around blindly. Okay. So try to use that time while you're waiting for kingdom building events to resolve by traveling around your kingdom and handling other things. Okay. So since I'm just goofing, I'm just going to keep going with tired people. See what we run into here. This is not my absolute current game. Okay, I'll try to avoid them this time. See if we can avoid them even though we're all fatigued. Spotted them, but I failed to sneak past, probably because we're fatigued. Okay, so everybody's going to have a little trouble here in combat. This is a couple days back in my actual game, so I'm not screwing anything up when it does this. Make a liberal use of the fast save function. That's F5 button. Okay, so here we go. I've got it set to pause at the start of... Okay, a little bit more interesting encounter here. Primal Spider Matriarch. Now, the only thing I don't like about this game, or at least one of my biggest pet peeves, is that knowledge functions just don't really work. So it makes it next to impossible to find out what you're fighting. You know, if it has any weaknesses, you know, if it has any special defenses. You can sit there and you just throw off all your fireballs and then the darn thing is resistant to fire, and you have no idea. Okay, so the Barbarian is immune to fatigue because of some magic item that she has, so she's good right now. If you forget what you set your character to do, you can just click on their portrait, and a little icon will appear over their head. So I set Rigongar, my Magus, to cast a mirror image, and there we go. All right, so Ranger's not going to cast anything. He's just going to start shooting with arrows. Hell, this thing's just running right at us. Woo! It charged the Barbarian, actually. Just did some ability damage. So that's pretty nasty. Alright, so the AI has the Dwarf just running right in to do combat. That always annoys the heck out of me. But again, you can stop that by hitting the H button. Let's set my Animal Companion to run over there and help out. Sometimes the companion will get trapped in the back. They just can't make it through because there are people in the way, which is a little bit annoying. In actual Pathfinder, you can move through ally spaces, but yeah, it's all good. It makes you think about things in a more strategic fashion. I'm going to kind of let some of these guys run on auto for a minute, but we'll have the Alchemist go ahead and toss a bomb. onto this Joker. And maybe a few magic missiles just to keep it interesting. Here we go. Yeah. Now, is she the only one? Is there another group of spiders here? Okay, she was the only one. So there you go. Not a very hard encounter. We were able to deal with it even in a fatigue state. Again, hit backspace to highlight everybody. Move your unit all at once. You can decide what kind of marching formation you want to have. I like the pyramid formation where I can put the barbarian out front and some of the high AC characters up front and the squishy spellcasters in the back. And alright, so there you go. There's a look at Pathfinder Kingmaker. If you're already familiar with it, this is probably a very boring video for you. If you're not familiar with it, you're probably overwhelmed at everything. But don't worry, the game has options to lower the difficulties. You can set things to level up automatically. You can make it as simple as you need to make it. So anyway, this is Streebo, Indie Film Reviews. Thanks for watching my Pathfinder Kingmaker Let's Play. Follow me at all those linky links below. Oh, they're chatting at me. They're telling me how tired they are. I'm going to let these guys rest and get back to my regular game. I'm going to let you guys go. Click the thumbs up. Give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with your friends and family. Your grandma will absolutely love it. Guaranteed. See you next time.